Dr. Hakim, they have to stay together. You can't just give up. I wish you could be friends again. What?
Are you ready for the roller coaster ride of your life? No.
It Takes Two is an action-adventure video game with elements from platform games. It is specifically designed for split-screen cooperative multiplayer, which means that it must be played with another player through either local or online play. In the game, players control an estranged couple named Cody and May who are not happy with each other and are converted into dolls by a magic spell. Along this journey, the two must work together with assistance from a magical book character named Dr. Hakim in order to fix their relationship and return to the real world. The game features a large number of game mechanics from various video game genres. These gameplay mechanics are connected to the story and the theme of the particular level. For instance, in one level, Cody gains the ability to rewind time, whereas May can replicate herself. Players have to cooperate with each other and utilize these abilities in order to progress. The game also features a large number of minigames. From Screen Rant, It Takes Two has an interesting plot, with the player growing to understand the complexity of the family's dynamic through Cody and May. It's worth noting that the game is quite strange tonally, with a cutesy surface layer that belies some dark humor underneath, such as a moment where the players have to dismember and ultimately kill a ridiculously sweet stuffed elephant character. The closest comparison is Labyrinth, blending slapstick moments and cartoon characters with scenes of genuine threat. That's not to say It Takes Two is perfect. There are some small issues. Screen Rant gives this game a score of 9 out of 10. From Push Square, like the studio's previous game, A Way Out, the action largely splits the screen in two and requires both players to work together to navigate the world, beat baddies, and solve puzzles. However, the team has really upped the ante this time. The game's greatest strength has got to be its sheer variety. As you said, players start off in the shed, but throughout the 12 to 14 hour runtime, you visit a large number of new environments, each one completely different from the last. I don't want to spoil anything in particular, but I think it's fair to say that players won't be able to guess where things go. Some of the levels are quite linear, but others are vast, with lots to discover. Push Square gives it a score of 8 out of 10. From Games Radar, It Takes Two is a unique experience that makes the most of what it means to offer a truly cooperative gameplay. Your relationship with whoever you're playing with is just as important as that of May and Cody, as you'll get nowhere without robust communication and teamwork. But its blend of reality and fantasy is also refreshingly different, especially within a framework that offers a kind of unique gameplay that never stops surprising. Games Radar gives it a perfect score of 5 out of 5. From Well Played, overall, playing through the game's 7 chapters should take most pairs around 10 to 12 hours to complete, give or take depending on each player's platforming aptitude. It can be surprisingly challenging at times, especially in some of its bombastic and universally pretty bloody excellent boss encounters where teamwork and twitch reflexes must combine. The camera is also an occasional hindrance given the limited field of view afforded by the split screen, but thankfully it's usually fairly good. That said, checkpointing is super forgiving in that if just one of you dies, they'll respawn close enough that the other won't really be disrupted. And even if both players fail, you're not sent back overly far. It Takes Two feels less like a game that could only work in co-op than A Way Out did, but the result is something that plays fantastically while still being far better for it. The cracking pace, hugely solid platforming, and lush presentation are only slightly let down by the odd hiccup or oversight, but the overall product is something that can comfortably stand with some of the best modern platforming experiences. It's so good, I almost wish I didn't have to share it. Well Played gives it a score of 8.5 out of 10. From PlayStation Lifestyle, It Takes Two is an exceptional co-op platformer with no shortage of fascinating set pieces, but it's the story that speaks to the gameplay, and some moments that get all too real when it comes to portraying the fraying relationship between Cody and May and their journey to rediscover their love for each other. These are the elements that really tie everything together in a unique exploration of a marriage unlike anything I've seen in a video game, let alone a platformer. It Takes Two is endlessly creative. Gameplay speaks to narrative, while narrative informs gameplay, and the entire experience just feels incredibly polished and detailed. It nails relationships in ways that so many games, and even other forms of media, just can't. It asks the player to engage with the story through mandatory co-op to tell the tale of a couple on the verge of divorce, rediscovering the good in their relationship. It's not just one of the best action platformers in recent history, but also a fantastic and unique story representing a dynamic that you don't often see represented in games, at least not in this depth and nuance. PlayStation Lifestyle gives this a score of 9 out of 10. And from Game Informer, ultimately, It Takes Two may not be the platforming juggernaut that it aspires to be. It more than makes up for it with its big heart, wealth in variety, and gorgeous imagery. All of its individual actions are things we've done in other games, but when applied to this distinct cooperative approach, they take on a whole new life and are used in wonderful ways over a long adventure. The action will have you laughing and screaming at your TV, and the story stays strong throughout, creating the backbone for an entertaining adventure that roars with excitement and should keep you glued to the controller to see if the couple's lost love can be rekindled. Game Informer gives this a score of 9.25 out of 10. For Game Insider Magazine, this is Hypersyntax. And there you have it.